Okay, my name is Leo Hanifin. I'm the chairperson of the Livingston County Transportation Coalition. That's an organization of over 100 organizations that are members that all care about better transportation in our county. There are businesses, there are senior centers, there's organizations that represent people with disabilities, there's commuters, there's schools and students, all types of stakeholders, all interested in better transportation in our county. For the past 2 years, this Livingston County Transportation Coalition has been advocating for a better plan for the county and for better services. So the first thing that happens, we had a summit with over 110 people came together. Then we helped Let's write a proposal to the state, and we got $150,000 to do a comprehensive plan for the county. Okay, I just mentioned Let's. Let's is Livingston Essential Transportation Services. They're the buses that you see moving around in the county that are responding to people's needs through dial-a-ride. We don't have any scheduled transportation in the county to date. But Let's got this grant from the state to do to get consultants to do this comprehensive plan. They took 80 documents that related to the different needs in the county and the history of transportation. They interviewed stakeholder groups, they held public meetings, they studied the transportation efficiencies and inefficiencies and needs, and they came together with a preliminary plan that was then presented to the public for feedback. And then finally, they came out with a final plan, which is this document here, that has 13 recommendations for improved transportation in the county. This plan is really an integrated multimodal system. Now that sounds like big words, and what it means is there's different ways to get around. It recommends airport service using express buses. In fact, right now, an express bus comes through our county, starts in Lansing, comes through 96 to 23, stops in Ann Arbor, goes to the airport, doesn't stop here. That's a shame. So we're recommending that we secure the same kind of service for our residents. We'd like to have expanded dial-a-ride service, both more on the weekend so people can get to church, more in the evening so people get out of work later, can get home, and more on weekdays as well. The plan recommends some bus routes up and down Grand River where there's a concentration of rides already on the Let's bus. So instead of having to dial a ride, which is an inefficient and expensive way to get people around, do a schedule service so larger numbers of people are on the bus. Some people are concerned about small numbers of people on a big bus. Sometimes they see a bus coming with just one person. Well, one solution is provide smaller vehicles. So they've bought some vans and some. In addition to the scheduled bus service on Grand River, there's a recommendation for commuter service to Ann Arbor. If you've ever ridden during rush hour south in the morning or north at night, you'll find out even with this expanded roadway, there's big backups. It's slow, and at times it's dangerous, and a lot of people would prefer to sit with a cup of coffee and reading a paper or starting their work than watching people text in the car next to them. There's some other things that relate to efficiencies. There's a trip management system that will optimize the routing and allow easier reservations and information to the riders so they can know when the bus is going to get there instead of having to wait. Right now you have to go 15 minutes before to 15 minutes after. There's a passenger hub that would allow services like Greyhound to stop here, which doesn't stop here right now. And there's collaborations with other systems like Ann Arbor Area Transit or CATA in Lansing, so that you could have coordination of movement between us and them. And finally, people want to get together, get around walking and riding bikes a lot more today. It's a big thing for fitness, and for people who don't have a dependable car, it can be a big thing just for getting around. And we have little parts of bike paths. In some areas we've got things like the Lakeland Trail, but in other areas you've got basically a bike path to nowhere, which needs a connection to the next segment of bike path. So we recommend a study which would connect those into a network so that you can move across the county and then coordinate it so that the various transportation services are available at the end of any bike trail, so that you can get to a stop, get your bike and yourself on a vehicle, and then continue your trip. So these things all together are 13 recommendations with a schedule of 5+ years to develop them. And the cost is remarkably inexpensive. In fact, this cup of coffee that I'm drinking now costs more than what it would cost the average household per month in the county, about $2 a month. If we were to implement all those things for all those benefits to the residents and visitors to our county. We've been making some good progress on this plan since it was presented to the Board of Commissioners in February. Let's has been able to go out for bids for the trip management system, and they've actually had the contract approved at a recent Board of Commissioner meeting. They have rented some space in Brighton for greater efficiency to leave some buses here overnight. That's an efficiency change. They've expanded and created weekend service. That's great. They've got diversified fleets of smaller vehicles that they're using now. And they're out for quotes right now, and they've just selected the service that will be used for express service buses to the Metro Airport. So we're making great progress, but there's no reason we can't get this whole system implemented, because the parts of the system are not as effective until you get the whole system where the one part of it feeds another part of it, and they all work together cohesively. So what we'd like to see is the Board of Commissioners create a task force to move towards full implementation and find a way to fund it. You know, the funding, like I said, is remarkably inexpensive, and there's really no reason our county shouldn't have these things where citizens don't have these things. The seniors want to age in place. They want the dignity of being able to live in their own home as long as possible. People who can't afford a car need it to get to work. We want people to work. You say, well, why don't they work? Why don't have a car? Why don't you have a car? They don't work. Well, they fit together. So first you've got to bootstrap that with the transportation. Businesses need workers. Lots of workers needed today, and they're not living in this county, the people that want these entry-level big box stores or manufacturing or service industry jobs. So, and everyone likes, not everyone, but most people like to walk or ride a bike. We should all like it because it's good for us. And finally, it's good for our environment. So for all these reasons, we think we should move forward with a full plan, make the investments as needed. It's a very modest investment, and if you would like to read about the plan, you can just Google LETS, L-E-T-S, Transportation Master Plan, and it will take you right to this plan. If you'd like to speak up about the plan, find out who your county commissioner is and tell them you want the whole plan implemented, because it's good for us. It'll keep our children from moving away. It'll keep our seniors living at home. It'll do a lot of really good things for all of us. I'm Leo Hanifin. I'm chairman of the Livingston County Transportation Coalition. I'd like to thank the commissioners for the support they've provided so far and urge them to continue that with the full implementation of the Transportation Master Plan.